Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello, welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions, the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, news, lifestyle, everything really. Depending on the guest, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from Cobra Kai. Season 3 just dropped on Netflix. January 1st, it dropped. We are with Rose Bianco, who plays Rosa, Miguel's grandmother. Rose, welcome to Popternative. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's kind of an honor to be able to do this, actually, to be asked to interview, because it's an amazing show, and I've just been so lucky.
Absolutely. I mean, we expected it to be pretty crazy. I mean, the Cobra Kai fans, wanted a season 3. They got a season 3. Season 3 came out on Netflix a week earlier than people thought it was, and it's just been crazy. I mean, it's simple as that.
I know, because I can tell you my social media blew up, and actually I'm not in it a lot this season, but I guess what I did do was good, and people appreciated what I did. I appreciate the guys, John, Hayden, and Josh, who kind of gave Rosa a little bit more dimension this year. I'm really pleased. I was just like, what can you ask for? I get to do super amazing comedy, but then I was also able to really show Rosa's emotions and how she, the reality of who she is too.
Absolutely. And the show, I mean, I did talk to, Vanessa Rubio, who plays Carmen, who plays your daughter on the show. And it's one of those things, too, where I think the show does a really good job with a lot of themes, but specifically self-reflection. And a lot of characters like Johnny Lawrence, played by Billy Zabka. I mean, he's going through a lot of stuff. Your character kind of has a really important scene with him where you're kind of like giving him a little bit of a talk that he needs a sensei and everything, and you're kind of adding to that self-reflection. Is it interesting to see this season, the self-reflection in season 3 of a lot of these characters?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I think it was the culmination. It was the combination of kind of reckless thinking without thinking through the consequences of what they're doing. Just like, it's a gratification. I'm feeling good. I feel like powerful. I feel like I'm giving these kids what they need, and it makes me feel important. That's Johnny. Billy Zabka is like a master at the self-reflection thing. You see it all without him having to overplay. He doesn't overplay at all, but you just see his heart is on his sleeve at all times. Daniel had a lot of self-reflection. A lot, and he was kind of being a bit of a ass.
Yeah, pretty much, absolutely.
So I'm really glad to see that they kind of like calmed him down this year.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was almost like the theories. There was like the role reversal, right? We knew Johnny Lawrence is kind of the bad guy in the Karate Kid movies,
Yes,
Season 1 of Cobra Kai, kind of like with, Miguel and everything as the champion of the All Valley tournament, kind of shows like the role reversals a little bit, which was an interesting dynamic.
Well, that was what made it. That's what I think what people liked it in the first year.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Daniel, who was so good, so sweet, he had such a baby face. First of all, I'm kind of Daniel's age, Ralph's, and I saw him in the Karate Kid, and I was a big fan. And then he did those. He did the Johnny. What the heck is? Can't remember the name of it, but where it was a Francis Ford Coppola movie where he played a kid who was doomed, and he ended up dying, and Matt Damon was in it. Oh shoot!
Is that that's not The Outsiders, eh?
Yeah, The Outsiders.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So he's such a baby face, and he's so good and so honest and real, and so he was like perfect for Karate Kid. Now he's grown, and he's still got that baby face, but now it's like he's just crafty, and in a way, he's grown up. He's got a business. a little crafty, and he was so easily offended by what was going on with Johnny, that he was doing that thing with the landlord, trying to get Johnny kicked out, which was really nasty, you know? So it really gave it dimension. It made people see what they didn't expect to see. The way Johnny was 180 degrees, just like he was just so full of himself and so hot and so amazing. And then now he's just so down and out, you know, and just to see his redemption over the 3 years has been really gratifying.
Absolutely. We talked a little bit before we started. I mean, you know, since season 1 came out, I mean, season 1 and season 2 of Cobra Kai was on YouTube's streaming service. Got moved over to Netflix for season 3, although season 1 and 2 were played on Netflix. So I find that very interesting because there was a lot of people that, like myself, I watched Cobra Kai when it was on YouTube and everything, but I feel like there was a lot of people that discovered and watched Cobra Kai only when it went on Netflix, when they put season 1 and 2. That's kind of an interesting dynamic too, because a lot more fans are able to kind of discover it and get prepared for season 3 when it moved to Netflix, but when they put season 1 and 2 as well.
Yes, I noticed it. Again, you know, Rose is not a huge role. I've done a few interviews. I've gotten a lot more social media attention, and it's kind of like the people who were the fans at the very beginning, and who I went to an event here in Atlanta that they were having like a party, and we were driving around and we couldn't find a parking spot. And I told my husband, just let me out and I'm going to go in and talk to Peter for a while. And it's a different Peter. And it was, he's so sweet and so nice. And there's just like a few fans from the original that we really appreciate so much for pushing that word out. And now everybody's heard about it and there's so many new fans. It's just, I don't know what to tell you. It's great.
But you did mention, you know, you don't have a big role and we don't see you that much in season 3. You are there, however. There are a lot of other characters that are in the same footsteps as Rosa, where we saw them since season 1 or season 2 that returned for season 3. And even though it's just like a scene here or there, it's pretty cool that they still bring back characters from season 1 and 2. Like, it's really cool. And I think that's that shows really nice of, you know, John, Hayden, and Josh as well, to kind of spread the love as well throughout the cast.
They really do. They have a big cast. They spread the love is a good way to put it.
Yep.
I do feel lucky that I'm pretty integral in Miguel's life.
Yep.
So I feel like that's a little bit of job security.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vanessa is so great to play my daughter. When I first met her, she's so sweet. She's so kind and nice. And when you meet somebody sometimes in this showbiz world and who's just such a nice, supportive person, it was a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to play her mom.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. This season saw a lot of cool things. I think the word cool and slick and nostalgic, there's a lot of words. There's a lot of cool things that happened, Rose, in this season, okay?
It's crazy.
and there's like, and the thing is, I do have to say, and let's be honest, like, we're not going to go into super big spoilers now, but if people are watching these interviews right now, they've watched season 3, okay? So I'm not worried, okay? But the blending of the new Cobra Kai characters like yourself, Miguel, Carmen, Hawk, Dimitri, and the blending with the older characters like Johnny, Daniel LaRusso, Ali.
Tamika.
Well, I was about to say the Chosen stuff was like my highlight of like the whole show so far. Like him going, like Daniel going back to Okinawa was incredible.
I know, it really was so cool. I think that as they got bigger and had more following, and Netflix said, well, we're going to pick you up, it's possible they have a bigger budget. So they were able to, like, all the people they wanted to get on the show. That could be part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, but it's just like and it's just, we talked about it again before we started. I mean, you can't escape the theories and the spoilers. Like I had to actually, because I want to go in as fresh as I could for season 3, right? But in the line of work I'm in, I see a lot of things from a lot of other podcasters.
Oh my gosh! So you're going like, I don't want to.
But it's like there was a lot of things that I went in as like we knew, and that's why I think the whole like Joe Suh thing, Kyler returning, was exciting because there were sprinkles on the internet that like Chosen was gonna show up and Ali played by Elizabeth Shue, right? There were sprinkles and rumors, but like I don't think anyone saw that they were gonna bring back the season 1 characters, like the kids, like Kyler and Yasmin.
Like that,
Yeah, like I didn't expect to see them back, to be honest with you.
Well, I want to say that I'm really glad that they brought Tyler back because he was kind of, I don't know, it was sad that he didn't come back for 2, but I understand they have this idea crafted. I think they probably have several seasons in their mind.
Well, it's summer break too, right? Like he mentioned it too. It's summer break, right? Like there's part of the school too.
Right. But Joe So is such a talented actor. Okay, I felt like God, he's good. That's it. He's out.
Yeah,
That's how I kind of feeling. So I was just pleasantly surprised. Obviously they don't tell me anything. I go in, I do my scenes on my script.
but I didn't see it coming at all. Like I didn't see it coming, and I didn't read much into it. Maybe some people would read into it, but like they put the season 3 trailer out, Rose, and he's there, and everyone's losing their minds. And yeah, Chosen's in there too, and Kumiko, and everyone's losing their minds. But there were sprinkles that they were gonna maybe bring them back. So
I saw that.
yeah,
I saw that.
so
I was surprised that they did it now, and they got Allie back now.
yeah.
It's like they came out with their big guns in season 3, and now what I'm thinking is, what about Carmen? Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh no.
They definitely, that aspect of it, they definitely made, like, that was, that whole, like, that, yeah, definitely. I definitely don't see that the whole Ali Johnny thing could go kind of both ways. It can go, maybe there's something there, or maybe they're just friends. I feel like they left that party kind of as friends. That's how I thought.
And it's also she's really successful. And and Johnny is just not.
But he was going to see Carmen and Miguel, like after that party, like he was, right? He came, he went to your place, right? And saw that he was all bruised up. So I think he was going back. I don't know. I don't worry. I think Carmen and Johnny, I fingers crossed, but
it's such a good couple. That's what I think.
Oh, it is absolutely. It's still really cool to see. Like it's just really cool to see. Like I still watch the Karate Kid movies sometimes, and it's just cool to see how we've dived into the world of Johnny Lawrence. Right? We didn't really see Johnny that, like, even in Karate Kid 1, like the focal point was on Daniel LaRusso, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool to see that shift, and we get like a glimpse, and we see more of Johnny type thing.
You mean now?
Yeah, now. Like in the Karate, even in Karate Kid 1, right? He's in there, right? Like Johnny's
he's a big part of it. Of course, it's all about Daniel. That's what the movie's about, Daniel.
Yeah.
And Pat Morita.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're like whatever 30 years later, and they're saying, what's a really good dynamic, dramatic tension, and that's probably where they came up with that idea, because that dramatic tension would make for a good show, because Johnny probably never could live that down. Never. You kind of know it from his personality, even as a teenager, right? So it's just, I'm sorry, Peter, I'm rambling. I ramble a lot.
No worries. No, it's fine.
It makes sense because because it would make for compelling drama. There, that's what TV shows are all about. You get an idea, a seed of an idea, you put it together and say, what's going to be compelling, and what's the dramatic tension that's like, and that was like perfect, especially with the kids, involving the kids. and the rivalries between the kids, then the rivalries between Dimitri and Eli. Oh my gosh. They're just really smart, those guys. They're just brilliant.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
I just want to say one more thing about Carmen. So Vanessa and I, in the first year, we would sit around and talk a lot, because they're, in TV, that you sit around a lot. And it was like towards maybe season 6 or something, or maybe I was on the phone with her, and I said, Vanessa, I know Johnny and Carmen are going to end up together. She goes, you think so? I'm like, yes, I think so. Clearly that's going to happen. And then finally, actually this year, now I'm finally like, finally.
So you predicted it a little bit.
Yeah, I predicted it before anybody knew at all, but I'm sure everybody kind of was going, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. But I just thought this would be so perfect.
We're obviously talking a lot about Cobra Kai, but you've also worked in this industry for a good amount of time and worked on other things as well. When did you, I just wanted to kind of, so it wasn't just Cobra Kai before we wrap up. When did you kind of decide that like storytelling and acting was something you want to do? Was it at a young age? Like when did you start all that?
Yes, I was a teenager, actually. I was in high school. I was in my 4th year of high school, and I was enrolled in college already.
Yep.
I was going to be a pre-law major. That was my major. I was already accepted. We're talking about like the spring of my last year. And I went to a theater games class with a friend of mine. She talked me into going, and I went to a few of these classes, and I had been in a couple of school plays, and I realized how much I loved it, but didn't even think about it as something to do. And then I just said, something snapped inside of me, and I said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I literally changed my major to speech and drama, and I started working free in a theater locally, like near my house.
Mm-hmm.
And all that, and I ended up getting into a play there that lasted for 7 months. All this happened like before I even started college. So it was something that I just randomly realized, oh my God, this is what I want to do. It was so clear to me. It was clear. I don't know how else to put it. So I went to college, and then I went to acting school in Chicago, and I had an agent, and I did a couple of commercials. And I was like, on my way, I said, I'm going to New York to try and make it as an actress. I ended up going to San Francisco for 4 years, but then I went to New York. And I didn't have a lot of success. So about the age of 30, when I was getting married, I just said, I'm just not going to stop doing this and just get a job and have regular insurance and just stop trying to do this. Then I got pregnant. So I raised my kids, and I didn't even do any theater actually until I was probably, old. And once the kids were in high school and they didn't really need me to be around all the time, because I worked full time, so I needed to be at home at night. So yeah, in the last 10 years, I started acting back here in Atlanta, and it's been amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of, and Atlanta for a good amount of time now. Everyone talks about New York and LA, and even I'm in Canada, like Vancouver, Toronto, and everything. But Atlanta's like rocking right now too. Like there's some good shows that are filming in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Ozark shoots here. Haven't been on
Stranger Things, right?
Stranger Things, yes. I would love to be on that. Well, dude, just a lot.
Shout out to my friend Kevin L. Johnson, who plays Sam Dermody on Ozark, because he's from Atlanta.
Okay.
Great guy.
Oh, shout out to my friends on Cobra Kai has so many Atlanta actors.
Yes.
They really get local actors a lot to play reasonably good roles.
Roll call. Go for it. Who you can remember. Roll call. Shout outs.
Oh, I mean, Aaron Bradley Danger is a friend of mine, and Susan Gallagher, Matt Lewis. And there's other, Alex Collins was on briefly. He was like the Australian drunk guy. Mm-hmm. So I actually was taking a class with Alex. And other people that I know that they're Atlanta actors, but I don't really know them. Just a lot. I love that.
Absolutely. No, for sure. It is great. And Rose, I just wanted to thank you for coming on Popternative and chatting a little bit with me.
Well, thank you for having me. It was nice to talk to you. You're really sweetie.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that, social media and everything. Where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything? Instagram?
I'm only on Instagram. I was on Twitter, but then I had to get off because I was freaking out over the political stuff for a while. I can't stand it. I can't take it. So I got off Twitter.
I think a lot of people are in the same boat as you. Don't worry about that.
So I just say I'm at rose.bianco.
And they can, of course, watch you as Miguel's grandmother, Rosa, in Cobra Kai, season 1 till 3.
On Netflix.
On Netflix.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing this, and congrats so far with the success of the show, and I hope it just keeps getting bigger and better. We hope to see Rosa more in future seasons. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, until next time, this is Rose Bianco and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.